stop the UN from taking over the internet? That's what we'll talk about in today's video. Russia and China and Brazil and a couple of other nations have decided that the United Nations should be the body that controls the World Wide Web, and have introduced a resolution in the United Nations General Assembly, where the US doesn't have a veto, even assuming that Obama would cast the correct vote, to give the United Nations control over the internet. The specific resolution would give the UN more control over cybersecurity. Giving China control of cybersecurity is like hiring a fox to guard the chicken coop. They're the main violators of it. Cybersecurity, data privacy, technical standards, the web's address system, and it would also allow foreign government-owned internet providers to charge extra for international traffic and allow for more price controls. That's to make sure nobody gets any website from outside of the Chinese. So it is basically a resolution by these authoritarian countries to squelch the last bit of freedom in their countries that they can't control, the internet. The United States Congress is considering a resolution opposing this. And the UN, if it passes this resolution, it'll be very interesting to see how much power it has. It's a very opaque issue. And I think a lot would depend on what the individual internet service providers plan to do. And if the United States Congress almost unanimously votes resolutions opposing this and calling on internet service providers not to follow it if the UN does it, we have a chance to preserve the freedom of the internet. This is all part of the point we're making in our book, Screwed, which is that there is an assault on American sovereignty by the globalists and the liberals. They are determined to erode the U.S. sovereignty and merge us into a global government structure centered in the United Nations. And the more the Republicans take over power in the United States, the more they're determined to do this, because they are determined to use the UN and international treaties to pass stuff they could never get passed in the American Congress. Gun control, they could never pass it in the House and Senate, but the Treaty on Small Arms Exports can do it. That's coming up for ratification. They could never require vast new amounts of foreign aid to third world dictatorships. But the Law of the Sea Treaty, where the hearings were last week and it's going to come up for a vote soon, can require that half of our offshore oil royalties go to the third world countries. So in each of these situations, they can't make us respect the Security Council resolutions, but if we join the International Criminal Court, as Obama wants us to do, then it would become a crime to go to war without that. We don't want to vote higher and higher welfare benefits, but if we sign the Treaty on the Child, the rights of the child, that will give the basis for challenging welfare levels in court, just like they're doing in Britain. So all of these taken together are an assault on American sovereignty in the name of globalism. You know, people talk about the black helicopters. Well, that's not a paranoid delusion. They're on their way. And in Screwed, we really outline where it's coming from, how to stop it. And please, nobody's talking about this issue. And we need to all get really, really mobilized and fast, because these treaties are going to be jammed through in the lame duck session of the Senate after Obama's lost the election, after the Dems have lost control of the Senate, and when they're talking to senators who don't have to face re-election. So, thanks a lot for watching.